It feels like now more than ever, there's emerging car brands coming into the market every single day. In fact, it's hard to keep up. So when somebody messaged me saying, Tish, when will you be reviewing a Leap Motors car? I'd never heard of Leap Motors, but turns out they've got pretty big backing. They're a Chinese-owned company, but they've got into bed with the powerhouse, which is Stellantis. That is the umbrella of manufacturers which owns things like Fiat, Abarth, Jeep, Citroën, Peugeot, Vauxhall, so many different car brands, and even more when you move into the US. It's a Chinese designed manufacturer, first built in China, but together with Stellantis, they'll now be building this vehicle in Poland. And that's quite a smart move. It's to avoid any of the taxes that may come into place for Chinese built vehicles. So why have they joined together with Leap Motors? Well, hopefully that's what we're going to find out in today's video, because this has got to be something special. This is one of their vehicles, the T03, a compact, affordable city car, set to rival the Dacia Spring. Think small and affordable, although Leap Motors like to say that actually they think they beat the Dacia Spring in almost every way. There's also another car, and I've been driving that one this morning. It's completely different. That is called the C10. I know, they're not very good at catchy names. And that is a big, plush, squashy SUV. But today is all about this, the T03. I'm going to find out what makes it tick and find out why Stellantis chose this brand to take a leap on. Hi guys, I'm Tish and welcome back to my channel Auto Social UK. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you around the T03 and telling you everything you need to know about this new small compact all-electric city car. So if that sounds good, then please keep watching. And if you like new car reviews and car content, well, you're in the right place. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. So why don't we start by outlining the key facts and figures about the T03.
It's actually an easy one for me to outline because there's just one specification costing £15,995. It's powered by a 37.3 kilowatt-hour battery and has up to 165 miles of range in urban areas. And it's also nearly twice as powerful as the cheapest Spring, with 94 brake horsepower. Enticingly, Stellantis will be topping up the 3-year warranty available in Europe to 4 years for the UK. They also claim that 95% of parts will be available in Europe, and this will mean that Leap Motor won't face the issues that other brands have like MG.
Charge speeds can be described as just okay. When you're on the go, it can DC charge up to 45 kilowatts. But because the battery is quite small, you can actually be on the go in around 40 minutes, which I don't think is too much of a problem. And it's still a little bit faster than that of the Dacia Spring. If you have a 7 kilowatt home charger, you can get from 0 to 100 in actually just over 6 hours. Once again, because of that small battery. And it shocked me when I charged the Dacia Spring at home because small batteries are cheaper to charge too. So yes, they don't go quite as further, but they will save you money. And ultimately, that's what electric cars were always supposed to be for. And talking about saving money, if you've got your own home charger, did you know that you can actually make money from your home charger?
Turn your EV into an income generator with JuiceUp, the app that lets you rent out your charger to other drivers using a friendly online community. Members can access bookable, affordable and reliable EV charging in places where public chargers may be unavailable. Plus, the charger owner makes a little money in the process. Win-win. And with promo code AUTOSOCIAL, you can enjoy 180 days free with 0 service fees. So download JuiceUp for iPhone and Android now and get started today.
Okay, so those figures haven't got other manufacturers quaking in their boots, but they're pretty good offering for this price point and also within this segment of the market. And in fact, compared to the Dacia Spring, that uplift in power and uplift in range is probably going to make quite a bit of difference. In terms of styling, I do think that the Dacia Spring is a better looking car, but This is not too offensive, it's quite friendly and cutesy, and in my opinion all the best small cars are friendly and cutesy. You've got the round front headlamps and you've also got the small compact alloy wheels.
And this is compared to all versions of the Spring which feature steel wheels, but it's the tyres that caught my eye. My biggest gripe with the Dacia was that it was running on Linglong Eco Masters. The T03 however is wearing Continental Ultra contacts, which are bound to improve the ride. Let's hope customer cars will also be on the same.
You've got one front wiper here and you also charge from the front port as well. But that's pretty much all there is to say about the exterior styling. It's very simplistic, but that's actually something the brand prides themselves on. What about the interior? Well, that simplicity is very much something which is brought into the cabin. It's not overcomplicated, but saying that, it's also not completely stripped back. You do have quite a large touchscreen, although it's a little bit further down than I'd like it, because you do end up moving your eyes off of the road, which there is two little cameras here, so they'll soon tell you off as soon as you're trying to change radio stations or use the sat-nav, which is irritating. There's also no Apple CarPlay yet. It's coming, but it may take a year or so, because that's what Aura said, and it took longer than they expected to be able to get it. You do also have a digital driver's display, and it's really crisp and clear. This is better than a lot of the competition. Quite like this. I also like the steering wheel. You've got a leather effect wrapped wheel and you've got nice physical buttons on the steering wheel as well. There's not a huge amount of storage in here. There's a little bit of storage in the doors and you've got one cup holder and a little bit of a glove box as well. But other than that, not quite so much storage, and I would have liked just an extra cup hole. I've just seen the other cup holder. So not quite as much storage as I would have liked. Just behind this lovely Voss water bottle, you've got a 12-volt charger and two USB charge ports. No USB-Cs, which is a little bit old school. And I've just come out of the C10, their larger SUV, and that's got a USB-C, so that's a bit strange. These seats, they're not exactly the most high quality, but I think they're comfortable enough. I don't see them being an issue at all, and they do feel just a little bit more robust than those that you get in the lower spec Dacia Spring. What I am really impressed with is the level of kind of spec that you get in this car as standard, because there's actually only one specification to go for, and you do get an electric blind and a lovely sunroof as well. Sunroof doesn't open, but that feels a little bit of a luxury to have a sunroof in a car of this cost. You also get satellite navigation built in and a really nice clear rear view camera, which once again, I think is quite impressive. Right, shall we get this thing out on the road? There is no avoiding the fact that at lower speeds, you get quite a loud electrical whir in this car. But let's get out onto a faster road. I'm going to stick my foot down, see what the performance is like. Woo! Quite a bit of wheel spin. But then, a fair bit of power. This car has quite a lot more power than, say, for instance, the Dacia Spring. The Dacia Spring has two different power outputs, a 45 brake horsepower and also a 65 brake horsepower, whereas this is just over 90 brake horsepower, so quite a bit more powerful. And you can tell that this car is not exactly designed for you to be putting your foot flat to the floor as soon as you leave where you're coming from. Also quite an interesting challenge right now is there's quite a bumpy road and it stays reasonably refined. I was worried about those wheels, with them being small and a little bit like the Dacia Spring in the fact that they're quite slim. I was worried that this car wouldn't feel composed, and I did feel a little bit like at times I was riding on roller skates in the Dacia, but this to me feels a little bit better in its ride quality. I've got a little bit more reassurance from the steering. In fact, funny enough, this steering is quite well weighted. I've just got back from driving the C10, the larger SUV from LeapMotor, and I noticed that the steering on that car was quite light, in fact a little bit too light for the setup of the vehicle, but this is almost the polar opposite. In fact, it's a lot heavier in its steering than I was expected, which is a good thing. I like a slightly heavier steering as it does give you a bit more confidence in that drive. And the power delivery is good. I was slightly surprised when I put my foot down in the fact that it did give me all of that power at once, because when you're around town at lower speeds and you're not slamming your foot to the floor, you actually get a really linear power delivery. It feels quite nice in the way that it gains the power without throwing you back in your seat, which is the ideal situation. Now, you may have heard, whilst I've been driving, there is a few bings and bongs. This car does come as standard with quite a lot of safety features. All the standard stuff like your traffic sign recognition, your speed alerts, and also your anti-collision warnings. But also this car comes with some bigger car tech which isn't standard in the likes of the Dacia Spring. And that includes electric heated door mirrors, and you also get blind spot recognition as well. So that's quite impressive. Yeah, it definitely feels a lot more composed in the corners than the Dacia Spring does. In fact, if I go for a really quick turn in the road, that is much, much better. Again, a little bit of a slip as it kind of doesn't quite get that traction, but that shouldn't be any issue for day-to-day driving. I hope you wasn't expecting some TARDIS of space, because this is a compact car, so it has compact dimensions. I've moved this seat into my driving position so we can get a good idea of how much space there is in the back. And it's not too bad. I'm about 5'5", 5'6", I never know exactly. And I've got a little bit of legroom spare and a little bit of headroom as well. It does come slightly further down when you move closer to the sunroof, but back here it's okay. Of course, there's not a huge amount of room, but I'm sure no one was expecting that. I have got access to a cup holder back here and a little bit of storage in the doors as well. You don't even get that in the larger Jeep Avenger. Of course, there's no central console with cup holders, and you haven't actually got a seat back here. It's just a four-seater. But otherwise, I'm pleasantly surprised. I didn't have high expectations, but actually it surprised me. And to be honest, I might have left the least remarkable thing to last, and that's the boot space. Now, inside the boot of the T03, you get 210 litres. Yeah, that's not a lot. Even the Volkswagen e-up got around 250 litres, and it's a lot less than the Hyundai Insta, which is a shame. But I always think it's surprising. Looking in this boot, it doesn't look like it's tiny. In fact, it actually drops quite far down. Personally, I think that I could get my suitcases for a week away in the back there. But then again, I do pack quite light, so that's not really saying anything. But once again, it's not all about interior space when it comes to this car. It's all about affordability. I never hide the fact that I love my small compact cars. I mean, I own a Volkswagen Up GTI, so it's no surprise that I feel quite endeared by this LeapMotor T03. I still can't get over how bad the name is, but actually the car is pretty good. And compared to the rest of the market, it looks very impressive. It definitely has its selling points over the Dacia Spring, but where this car might come undone is when the Hyundai Insta is released, because that is a better all-round vehicle. But if you want to get in a car for £199 a month and £199 deposit, that doesn't really buy you anything nowadays. So to get a small compact electric vehicle with a decent range, a decent amount of power and a really good level of tech, I think it's pretty good. But let me know, what do you think of the LeapMotor T03? Pop it in the comments down below. If you've enjoyed the video, please go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. And if you want to see more, then you're in the right place. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Until next time, guys, see you later.